Hi, I'm Jerry Jackson. I'm the director of the Wastewater Department. I've been working for the city since the early 90s. I'm originally from La Porte. Well, I moved to La Porte when I was in second grade, originally from Cherville, so I'm from the area anyways. Went through La Porte schools, wound up at the University of Wisconsin up in Madison, got an chemical engineering degree. Since coming back to La Porte and working for the city, I've got my water and wastewater certification, so I'm qualified to run a wastewater treatment plant and a water plant. The wastewater department, we got a number of functions. We're wastewater and stormwater, do both. We operate the wastewater treatment plant located out on Boyd Boulevard. All the wastewater and a lot of stormwater from the city of La Porte comes out to the wastewater treatment plant. We treat it, make sure it meets the federal standards, our permit standards. We've got a number of projects that are on the front burner, a big long line of projects in our capital improvement plan. At the treatment plant, we're gearing up to clean a digester. Digesters take all the solids, that's the term we use, solids, and digest them at 95 degrees with no oxygen. That creates methane. The methane's useful. We use it to heat buildings. It also disinfects the solids so that the solids are less likely to have harmful bacteria. And by converting those solids, the carbon into methane, we get rid of about half of the solids that we have to handle later. This is done in a 500,000 gallon tank or several 500,000 gallon tanks, and periodically you have to get inside the tank and clean it, because it accumulates things that are not biodegradable and tend to settle at the bottom of the tank. While we're doing that, we examine all the piping and make sure there's no problems with piping or concrete or the lid. So that's a big project we got going, a maintenance project we've got going on this spring. Construction projects at the treatment plant, there's grit. The grit and screening are preliminary treatment train. As the wastewater comes in, it's screened to take out things that are not treatable, like rags and car tires. Not joking, we once got a Volkswagen tire in. And all that material is removed, and unfortunately that just goes to landfill. Nothing much you can do with that. And then also we get a lot of grit in from the combined sewer system. We get sand. You also get grit from the sanitary sewer system. Things like coffee grounds that aren't biodegradable and are dense and tend to wear out equipment and accumulate in bad places. So we got a system that removes that grit. Those systems are 30 years old. We're going to replace them, and the project probably won't start till next year, but we're involved in the engineering right now to get that all ready. As far as the sewer system, we've got a couple pump station projects planned. The pump station at the intersection of Lane Street and Lakeside is planned for an upgrade. The controls on it are out of date. The pumps are about 18 years old, and it lacks a generator. These facilities we maintain and operate, they run 24-hour 365, whether there's electric power or not coming from NIPSCO. So a lot of these facilities have backup generators, and we have towable backup generators. This pump station down on Lane Street needs to have power. It's right at the lake. And in the worst case scenario, if somehow we've got remote alarming, but if somehow we weren't Johnny on the spot and got down there and fixed it, if there was a loss of power, this pump station could potentially overflow into Pine Lake, which of course nobody wants. So we're putting a generator there to keep that pump station running in case there is a power outage. There's several other pump stations due for upgrades. When you have 30, you have to do one or two a year, just so you're not behind the eight ball. When if pump stations can run 20 years with some maintenance, some minor repairs and everything, but they don't go 30 years. So you got to be doing one or two upgrades a year, or you're falling behind. We've got a big project on Lakeside Street planned for this year. The sewer on Lakeside Street was put in the early 60s, late 50s, and it was put in when the lake level were very, very low, and it was put between the houses and Pine Lake. Since then, Pine Lake has risen. It's about 6 feet higher than it was at that time, and the sewer's honestly out in the lake. If you look in the right places, you can see manhole covers that are surrounded by water. One of them is 50 feet out from shore. So we've got that's not a sustainable situation. If you need to fix a sewer that's buried underneath the lake, it's a difficult job. The other thing that goes on with that sewer is it's old, 60, 70 years old. And sewers, as they get old, the joints spread, and you start getting groundwater and lake water start leaking into the sewer. So you're treating more water than you would otherwise have to. And when that sewer is located under the bottom of Pine Lake, it's very difficult to fix those sort of problems. So we're going to move the sewer on the shore, and that involves about 36 homes that are along the lake shore from Lane Street down the Waverly Road. It's kind of an intrusive project because we're right in people's yards, reconnecting their houses to the new sewer, and requires easements because there was no road going through between the houses and the lake, so we're in people's lawns. And a tough project, but we'll have a good product when we're done, and we'll have something that's reliable and not going to suddenly fail and people lose sewer service. One big project that's probably another phase isn't probably going to happen until next year, but Monroe Manor is coming. Another phase of Monroe Manor sewer separation is coming up. Monroe Manor was a World War II era project, and they built combined sewers, meaning the storm water and the sanitary wastewater all go to the same pipe. That's saves a buck on infrastructure, but when it rains, those sewers are overloaded. They can back into homes, they can flood the streets. And Monroe Manor was wartime construction, so it was rather quick and not such great quality work. We've got a project in several phases to replace the sewers through that area and the water and the streets. So it's a mammoth project for the city of La Porte. We've done the first phase, which was a couple $1 million, and kind of paved the way for the next two stages. The storm sewer was installed and put in at the size such that it'll accommodate the rest of the subdivision. New water mains installed, new sanitary sewers installed, a new road, new curb and gutter. The first phase looks great. I've been waiting a long time to get rolling on the second phase. It's a lot of money and you got to fund it. We're going to talk with the city council this summer to get the bonds issued and the rates adjusted to fund it. I'm looking forward to finishing that. A lot of patient people out there in Monroe Manor who have been waiting for this for a long time. That's kind of a summary of what we're up to lately. I appreciate we've got a lot of great people in the city of La Porte who help us when we're doing these projects, help us and point to problems that need attention, and I appreciate that too. If you got questions or comments, give me a call. Jerry Jackson at the city of La Porte. Our phone number out here is 219-362-2354. Thank you.